What is up, YouTube? I'm back at it again. Long story short, I had to take my camera in here for repair. Couldn't record while it was in the shop, so let's just jump straight into it. Today I wanted to talk about an artist who holds a special place in my heart, and that is Kid Cudi and his latest album installment, Passion, Pain, and Demon Slayin. Passion, Pain, and Demon Slayin is the 6th studio album, 7th if you want to consider Wizard, which was just basically him under a different name. Disclaimer, I am a big Kid Cudi fan, or I used to be at least. I'm not gonna lie, over the past few years, my love for him as an artist has declined with his experimental projects. I really wasn't liking the sound as much as I used to on his first 3 projects, like A Kid Named Cudi, Man on the Moon 1, and Man on the Moon 2. Indie Cut was cool, and after that, there were just a couple tracks that I really liked, but there weren't projects that I could say I really enjoyed or really loved and had on repeat. My 2 favorite projects from Kid Cudi are A Kid Named Cudi and Man on the Moon 1, and I try not to compare any of his projects to those, but subconsciously I kind of do. It's really hard not to, but I will say that out of Kid Cudi's entire discography, Passion, Pain, and Demon Slayin might be my favorite album of his since Men on the Moon 2. When I heard that this album was coming out, I convinced myself to not have high expectations or hopes for it. I went with my head low, and I couldn't be happier that I did, because honestly, this album is a solid, good effort from Kid Cudi. I really enjoyed it. It's the closest thing I've heard of him with those Moon Man vibes that I've missed and a bunch of his older fans have missed. If you're looking for that Cudder, this might be the project for you to check out. At first, it was a rough start, but as I've let the album grow onto me, I've realized that it's actually pretty good. It's a genuine album, and by that I mean like it's like an adventure, and he did separate it into parts. There's a whole concept behind it. You can Google it and check it out. Passion, Pain, and Demon Slayin has great productions. The beats are on point. The hooks are on point. The themes are on point. Everything is on point for this album when it comes to Kid Cudi. Lyrically, it's not his most complex. He's speaking more from the heart, so it's a lot of straightforward lyrics, but there are some magical moments sprinkled here and there. And if you know Kid Cudi, you know that some of his most simple rhymes and most simple raps and lines are some of his best. Like there's one where he talks about the universe and by design. He says so little.
The universe never steered me wrong. The universe never lied.
But it says a lot, if you get what I'm saying. His style on here is more of those Moon Man vibes. The sound of it is definitely closer to his older sound, but also mixed in with a lot of his newer sounds. So I feel like on this album, he seems more concise and clear on what kind of direction he wanted to take the album in terms of the sound. I really like that. It seems like all his experimental sounds that he tried in the past few years, he got the best of each experimental vibe and sound, and he just kind of clustered it together here. It works for the most part. The album is pretty long, standing at 19 tracks. I feel like this album was a good moment for Cudi to shine, to reintroduce himself to like the general public and a bunch of younger fans. Keep in mind that Cudi blew up in 08, 07, so there's a whole slew of hip-hop fans that may not even know who Kid Cudi is and the impact and influence he's had. I feel like with 19 tracks, he kind of overstayed his welcome. At first, there were a lot of tracks that I felt don't belong on the album. After listening to it for weeks, about a month, I would say the tracks that I didn't like did grow on me, but I feel like the sound of those tracks could have been added as bonus tracks or as a separate EP, because it's a whole different vibe from the other ones. The first 10 tracks of the album, they're really good. They have really positive vibes. They get you dancing. They have a good rhythm. 2 of those 10 tracks are a little slow, but still they get picked up by the other uplifting tracks. And then he tends to slow down the pace for the next like 8 until he brings it back up. And I feel like Cudi probably saw that, because in the last 3 tracks, 2 out of the last 3 tracks, he puts 2 banging features. I feel like he saw that the album kind of sways down for a bit, and to pick it back up, he ends it with a bang. From 11 to 18, 17, it goes down a more of that melancholic Cudi, that darker theme that he pursued on Man on the Moon 2. For Man on the Moon 2 fans, you'll love the tracks. I certainly enjoyed it, but those were the tracks that initially I really didn't like until I was listening to the album. Then it just like hit me, and I just ran through tracks 11 to 17, and I just kept replaying it. They're just more chill. They're set for like a different mood. When I say that he overstayed his welcome, I feel like if Cudi really wanted to come back with a bang, he could have made this album shorter and put some of the slower tracks on a different release or as bonus tracks, or he could have put the slower tracks more intertwined with the uplifting amazing tracks, and then it wouldn't have sounded so boring for like the middle of the project. And it sucks because when I first listened to this album, I didn't get past track 10 because it was so long until like the first couple of days, and I had talked to other friends who told me the same thing. There might even be people who've heard like the first 10 tracks and after track 11 or 12 they just dropped the album, but I highly recommend you go back to it because it does pick up. Those slower tracks do have their moments. It just takes a little more time for them to like simmer in and just let it play out. If you want to say Cudi is coming back, I wouldn't say this was his comeback album, but I think this is the first step towards making a great comeback into the main spotlight again, and I feel like this is what he wants. I feel like he actually wants to come back and be a leading artist in hip-hop again, because he was one of the leaders of the new wave back in the day in like 07, 08, 09 with Drake and Wale. Cudi was there. Even now, he's getting recognition for being one of the heaviest influences on the sound that we hear nowadays. Like him and Kanye worked on 808s and crafted the sound that we hear a lot.
I just want to take this time out to say, Kid Cudi is my brother, and I hope he's doing well. The most influential artist in the past 10 years.
So I think this album is a great start to him coming back into the limelight, and I think it's a great comeback for his fans like myself who kind of lost hope in Cudi in these last few albums he's released. And also I think this album is a great introduction or reintroduction for a lot of fans who didn't know A Kid Named Cudi, Man on the Moon Cudi, Man on the Moon 2 Cudi. People who don't know Cudi, this introduces him to them, and then they'll go and listen to his past projects. That's it for now. Out of a 5, I'd give this album a 4. It's probably an album that I would keep re-listening to from time to time. Like I said, this is my favorite project of his since Man on the Moon 2. And yeah, let me know what you think with a comment down below, or tweet me, follow me on any social media, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It goes a long way. If you want to see more reviews in the upcoming weeks, subscribe down below, and just be ready to see a whole lot of more videos coming out soon. I promise. Until next time, take care.
I see everything with new beams, I do dream. My eyes are glowing, mood rings, you're boring. Stop dealing with the true thing, I do think. When you think too much, you're removing what's moving.
I'll just go quickly, track by track, and tell you which were my standouts and how I perceive them. Frequency is cool, Swim in the Light, dope. Releaser, that one was straight for me. I didn't like it as much. By Design is phenomenal. The hook that Andre provides is amazing in my opinion. All In is good. Illusions is, when I mean Moon Man Cudi, that track just like brought it back for me. I really like that track, but I feel like that's more of like a fan perspective. Rose Golden, really good song as well. Baptized in Fire, dope as well. Flat at First Sight and Advance, great song too. Does It vibes. Dance for Eternity, that's when it starts slowing down. Dance for Eternity, Distant Fantasies are good tracks. Wounds, I thought was whatever at first, but it kind of really grew on me. Mature Nature, good as well. Kitchen, I think Kitchen might be his weakest track on the album. Cosmic Warrior, it's a good track, but what I really liked on that track is the hook. You just want to like sing it. It's just Cudi like belting out. The Guide, Andre shines again with his verse. The Commander, it was straight. And then Surfing kind of reminds me of King Wizard and The Way I Am. At first I thought it was alright, but it really grew on me as well. And yeah,